Now then, transportation accounts for at least 14% of planet warming emissions anywhere around the world. But with vehicle supply to African markets often dominated by used cars coming in from Japan, from Europe or the United States, most of the markets here are often priced out of accessing lower emission hybrids or fully electric battery powered vehicles. Chinese manufacturers also have not really been present in that space in most African markets. But the latest in these tentative expansions is that of Changan Automotive. Ahead of their launch in East Africa, which happened today on the 1st of December, I spoke to Francis Bonlahor. He is Inchcape Africa's managing director. Now, the company does have a presence in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania and Djibouti. But I started our conversation by asking him where Ethiopia, a country of 100+ million people, fits into this brand rollout.
One of the things that Inchcape has been doing, particularly over the past, 5-6 years, would be growing rapidly in terms of opening on new businesses in new markets, in acquisitions of existing businesses. And we'll continue to do that, across multiple markets in Africa. Inchcape, we've actually been in Ethiopia for many, many years, more than 50 years. We will always explore opportunities to represent our strategic partners in multiple markets across the continent.
Speaking about Chinese brands, though, the one thing that always strikes me about the entire gamut that they cover, the one advantage, brands like Haval, BYD, Changan to some extent as well, from the few trips I've had to China, is there's this really intense focus on providing battery-powered electric vehicles into the domestic markets. And they've frankly, in my opinion, they've pretty much beaten a lot of the Western OEMs in that respect. Will they be able to replicate that in this market? Do you think there's demand for battery-powered electric vehicles in the 4 countries you've spoken about?
An excellent question, Rahman. Thanks for that. So if you look at Changan, they've got the production scale, they've got the innovative technology, and they've got the model lineup. And the model lineup is a combination of internal combustion engine. It's also of hybrid and electric vehicle. So as you said at the beginning of this conversation, the introduction and presence of Chinese brands, particularly within the passenger and commercial vehicle segment, is still at its infancy. So the opportunity that this strategic partnership creates for us is to be able to introduce this array of models, including EVs. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to be in the forefront of doing this, of introducing both internal combustion engine of Changan models, as well as electric vehicles into each of these markets that will be representing Changan over the next couple of years.
Indeed, and they're fantastic fit, especially for the sort of city driving that we tend to do, especially in this part of the world. One of the things that stood out for me when I was looking at Inchcape's numbers is, and the board and management sort of pointed this out, that the company tends to get roughly 25% of the profits from the life cycle of a vehicle, because it's, the car comes off the showroom, you provide service for the first 3-4 years, but then once it starts getting into the second-hand market, that value sort of disappears. And I know Inchcape is keen on trying to essentially capture that value over the remainder of a vehicle's life cycle, which to me seems to imply that Inchcape would essentially now have to start, being able to make the company attractive to drivers who are essentially on the second-hand end of the market. How would that play out in East Africa?
You are absolutely right. So as I said at the beginning, Inchcape, we've got our expertise in distribution excellence, in representing core brands, core auto manufacturers in all the markets where we are present. But we go beyond that. We've also built capability in terms of supporting customers in their life cycle ownership of their vehicles. And in terms of used cars, we've built excellent capability in multiple markets, outside Africa, but it's a segment that we're looking at very closely in Africa,